we're going to move into the final segment. And I'm going to introduce this one with this is not a moonwalk in the right direction. This is perhaps a giant leap in the right direction, even though it probably won't take place until
What,
I'm,
you don't want a
very
song?
nearly dead or gone.
And you don't want a song for this? I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. I switched my glasses and everything.
I didn't know we were going to do the song for this, but you know
Well,
what? If you want to sing us, go ahead, Cynthia.
I,
Give us a
I,
stepping in the right direction.
well, we can just step in the right direction, step in the right direction, yeah, step in the right direction. We'll stepping in the right direction, yeah. Take it away, Nate.
Bam! That's as much rhythm as a white guy can conjure right now. But section segment number 4, we have a story about Christianity becoming a minority religion in the United States. Wow. So we've got a couple of articles here. We've got one from Only Sky Media, I think it's called. Yeah, Only Sky Media, which to me sounds more like a subscription based porn site for clouds. But anyway, Only Sky Media. And then we've got a link to the actual Pew study showing that by 2070, they are projecting Christians will be a minority in the United States. So again, by the time I'm very likely dead, my neighbor might stop talking to their imaginary friend. Now, I myself, I wonder if Pew accounts for the accelerating trend towards secularism in other countries and some of the spillover effect that might happen, because there's lots of other countries across the world where Christianity is no longer the dominant religion, and in fact, in a lot of Scandinavian countries, non-religion is the majority view. So to be honest, folks, I don't even think it's going to take that long. I hope to live to see the day. I don't know that I will, as a 27-year smoker who quit a month ago. But you know what? This is promising stuff. I want to see this better world for my kids. What do you guys have to say about this?
Well, I was
Well,
well.
Cynthia, you have something to say? What?
Well, yes, I
Knock
know.
me over with a feather.
I know it is something that never happens, that I actually have something to say, but I wonder if it's possible, because I think this is one of the things that we can probably attribute this trend to. If we could, crewmaster, can we please have that chart?
Ah, yes.
Yes, yes.
The
So
chart.
yes, this is the chart. And and one of the things that I took away from the article, I took this particular quote, that if you are wondering why religious switching is happening at all, well, hire a sociologist. But some explanations include a push for secularization, anti women, anti LGBTQ views held by conservative religious zealots, child sex abuse scandals, religious intermarriage, and the ability for religious doubters to be helped to find helpful resources and forums online for their new beliefs. And one of the things that, if you can actually see, if you look at the very bottom of that chart, the largest contributors to the irreligious are the Gen Zers. These are the young people that are our futures. These are going to be these are going to be people who are going to be in the lawmaker chairs. They're going to be in the decision making chairs. And this is the group that's actually becoming more and more religiously unaffiliated. I mean, if you even look at how it's compared to like 22% that is like at least Protestant, but over 31% of them are not actually a participant in any type of religion. That is promising. And I think that that's one of the reasons why we're actually seeing this particular trend. I mean, if you look at the silent generation and the boomers, I mean, these are groups that are dying out, right? And these are also
Right.
And they're also like the overwhelming voices that we are seeing in the body politic right now. That's like pushing really, really, really shitty laws when it comes to anti-women, anti-LGBTQ, anti-minority, and also the old guards are the ones that we have, issues with, especially when it came to like, child abuse, child sex abuse scandals, like the I believe the Southern Baptist Convention recently had one. Of course, we talked ad nauseum about the Catholic Church, right? So these, but like people who happen to be more religiously affiliated rather were older and part of these particular demographics, but the Gen Zers are coming up and they're like, nah, we good. So but I agree with you. I don't necessarily think it's going to be until 2017. I think that we're probably going to get there a little bit quicker. And I believe that one of the reasons why we're even seeing like this rise of Christian nationalism is because they see it too. This, even like Christian nationalists
Yes. Yeah.
themselves are a small group. They're a minority group, but they are in key positions and have like key ears of people who want to push that particular agenda. But I really believe that it's overarchingly dangerous and also harmful, is because they know that the more of America is becoming non-religious. So, you know, uh, our lives are in your hands, young
Yeah.
people. Help us. But I think that Josh, I think you have something to say about it
Yeah,
too.
Josh.
Oh, I
Stop
do.
chasing those kids off your lawn, Josh. Jeez.
I'm the youngest one here. I'm gonna hang out on your lawn now. Uh, I would like to. I would like to share as much optimism. I do think like the younger generations. I'm appreciative. I'm not gonna. I'm trying my best not to throw the younger generations under the bus like seems to be happening with the older generations. I don't agree with whatever music or TV shows they like, but politically aligned, the younger generation does seem to be going well. Even like religiously aligned, the younger generation does seem to be doing much better than the older generation. So like while their some of their intricacies annoy me, as people they seem to be better people. But my problem is I'm wondering if
Mm,
this survey has taken into account how hard Christian nationalism is pushing to disregard the separation of church and state right now, because they have been
Oh yeah.
yeah, they have been doing away with laws. They're not even trying to hide that they don't care about church and state anymore, because they're just putting their own agendas out there. And I
mhm,
worry like we're gonna eventually see like intelligent design and more schools, because they're gonna push that through for some reason. They're gonna find a reason to justify that, and there
mhm.
more propaganda can slowly get into like we're seeing signs in schools right now where you can have like God in doorways or like God's great or whatever the stupid signs are
In
saying.
God we trust.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
in God we trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Texas.
So they're
Yeah.
trying to get a hold
Mhm,
of these young minds, and I worry because their base votes. Like they are not the majority, but they are dedicated. I don't think you can find. I'd be very
yes.
surprised to find a Christian nationalist that does not vote. While I have known many apathetic atheists that don't do that. So like while they're in power, they're gonna be able to throw the propaganda wherever they can get. I think I'm maybe the only person in the notes besides maybe Cindy can contribute to this also, that's thought that the 2070 might be a little optimistic with who we have in power. I do hope, and I am optimistic that eventually we can come
Really?
to being a secular nation
Wow.
majority. But the way this government's going, the way it's disregarding the Constitution and all that kind of stuff to put their propaganda in charge. I worry about the youth. Gen Z is fine, but what comes after Gen Z might be getting radicalized all on its own.
Mm.
Hmm. Cindy, what did you have to add?
Cynthia wanted to say something before I
Oh,
go.
I was gonna go after you, but I just wanted to say that this is one of the reasons why I think that we are seeing a push specifically politically to reach out to young people, because of as you mentioned, Josh, these are a dedicated group. The Christian nationalists are dedicated. They are resolute when it comes to actually pushing forth their agenda, right? And so but the only way that we can actually have any type of way to combat them is we need people on the other side who have who sees how dangerous this agenda is and actually participate in the political process. And I think that, you know, we're starting. I believe that I even saw a story about how you are starting to see more millennials and Gen Zers that are actually putting their hat in the ring to actually run for office. So, you know, I'm
Right.
hopeful for that only because of empiricism. You know, like I understand like we do have an issue specifically with Christian nationalism, and it's a big issue, right? But I'm more of the before 2070 because like they will eventually die out, and we do have, you know, young people who are, you know, trying to put their hat in the ring in order to make a change.
But
And
they are
again,
going
I'm not
after our
saying,
youth.
but go ahead, Cindy.
Yes.
Yeah,
What's Cindy have to say from across the pond? I'm
Yes.
curious.
yeah. Initially, when I read the article, I thought that 2070 was optimistic,
Hmm.
and but I'm still on the fence because the more I think about it, the more I have two sides on this issue. Um, that there is always a large delay between what the population wants and what the political system implements, because people who are in office, usually in democracies, they are much older. So the time that what the people want, uh, and they got into office and then they get to implement those laws, it's all usually 20, 30 years. Uh, but right now we have the Christofascist movement, we have the QAnon movement, and we have the Trumpism, and all that is mixing into one big movement that's trying to take power as much as possible. And I think that's the reason why I'm pessimistic. It's because I think they will succeed. I think they will take a lot of power, maybe not all of it, maybe not turn the country into a theocracy, but they will take some power, and it will take some time uh, to remove those people.
Of course. Yeah, and obviously I think Christianity is going to survive. It's going to weather this storm, but it's going to change. And like it always has with all social change over the last 500,000 years, it's going to be dragged kicking and screaming into the new zeitgeist of our evolving moral landscape. It's just that the battle is going to be whether it's going to be forced to adapt before or after this Christian nationalist movement manages to codify all this stuff. Now, I realize with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, we're kind of looking more towards the after, but the potential for drastic change and the potential for this to suit like spectacularly backfire on these people when people in their 30s and 40s are forced to or impelled to actually vote and get out there and protest. Like I have been shocked that I haven't seen more riots over this Roe v. Wade thing.
Mm.
And I know a lot of folks being on the spectrum myself that have said if Obergefell falls, we will fucking riot. And I hope that happens. And I hope this is I hope this is a chance for all of those of us who aren't in power to unify and push back against this fucking bullshit because we can't let this stand, and I don't think it's gonna stand. I have more faith in the United States than the two Americans on this panel do. So I don't think this is gonna stand, and I don't think it's gonna take till 2070. It's gonna be an ugly next 10, 20, maybe even 30 years. But I believe in you guys. I do not believe that the American experiment has failed. But I will throw the yeah, I know, Cynthia. But But I will throw it around for some final thoughts before we wrap up the show. I'm not going to let Cynthia go first because we've only got a few minutes left. So I'm going to throw it to Josh for a quick wrap up.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it down after Nate's thing. I worry about the death throes of Christianity because I absolutely do believe we are on track, but I do think it's gonna be a dirty, ugly track to getting Christianity out of the
It is.
majority in America. And I do believe they're gonna start indoctrinating the youth. I don't think we can discount that, and it's gonna be ugly. I do think that overall, eventually, because one of the things that started to get atheism big was the internet, and it started to restrict where they could put their propaganda because of like logic is out there for people to find. But now they're starting to figure out technology a little bit better. They're finding new ways to manipulate the situation. I do think it's going to get dirty. I do think progress moves slow, especially it seems like it moves slow in the right direction because they're able to throw whatever the hell they want at us right now, and a lot of it's terrible. And a lot of that's like it's galvanizing people right now to go up against unjust. But I know so many people that are against this Christian nationalist laws that are coming out, and they're up in arms right now. But I worry that they're not going to stay up in arms. And like I know a lot of the people in charge of this, they're trying to keep it quiet, like about the Roe v. Wade thing. They're trying to keep it quiet on their news so that their people, because people on both sides are angry about that, so that that's not the main issue. They're trying to find other issues to distract so that they can eventually get away with all the other things that they want to do. They seem blunt and sometimes even kind of dumb, but it's a lot of it's strategy to like distract us from where their goals are. So I don't think the American experiment has failed, but I do think there's going to be a lot of scribbling along the way.
Okay, well, I have an opinion on that, but Cynthia, Cindy, would either of you like to weigh in before we wrap it up?
Cindy.
No, I agree with what Josh said mostly, but yeah, it's going to be a big fight. I hope uh, it will stay. I mean, not literal fight. I don't want to see the United States fight each other. I heard yesterday a former general saying that in his book the U.S. was 85% close to a civil war, and those kind of thoughts kind of scare me. I have a lot of
Scary.
friends over there, and I'm yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. No, I'm scared too. And I'm even more scared because I have a child. So I get scared for him about especially like for things that I see. But I just wanted to, wrap up my final thought with something that Nick Fish said, who is the current president of the American Atheists. He said that this report confirms what we've long been saying. The American people are realizing that religion isn't necessary to lead a moral, compassionate, and ethical life, and the hypocrisy, scandals, extremism, bigotry, and lies of too many religious leaders and their denominations are only accelerating this trend. It's our obligation as atheist leaders to be responsive to the needs of this rapidly growing demographic and to create sort of a welcoming local community. No, we want a welcoming community that fully meets the needs of the newly non-religious.
Oh, Nick Fish just swam his way into my soul, and I have to say I don't agree with some of what Josh said because I don't think they can afford to hide it anymore. I don't think they're even trying anymore. They know that they're in power, and they are the gloves are off. If you look at even pieces of the legislation that we regularly cover on the nonprofits, you can see that they don't give a shit whether popular opinion supports their movement or not. they're just they're gonna try to push it through, and they're gonna try to get it passed while they're in power. So I don't think they're even trying to hide it anymore. But Josh, I will give you the final word before we go into wrap up.
I'm just going to say they've been trying to quiet Lindsey Graham because he mentioned too early for them that they wanted to codify it against the whole country to get abortion banned across the whole country. So they are trying to hide it. Not everybody's following their plan, but they are trying to hide their plan.
They were trying to hide it.
Yeah.
I just want
trying to hide
Can I
it.
just say this? This should make people vote. I'm not going to tell
Yeah.
you who to vote for, but it should make people vote. That's all I got to say.
It should certainly make people want to get involved with the with the process, and even get involved with your local politics. Like that can make a huge difference as well, right? Like you don't have to. It doesn't matter really. I mean, it does matter, but it's not so much about the Congress people or the senators, but it's also about the people that run your city, because that's where change really takes effect and sort of starts. So I have faith in you, America. I don't think you are a lost cause. I think it's like we've been saying. I think it's going to be an ugly 20 or 30 years, but I think y'all are going to pull through, and you're going to join, progressive, superior countries like Belgium and Canada and most of the European countries, and hopefully you'll catch up, and maybe we'll learn something from your film industry and make a decent movie before 2070. You never know. It could happen.